guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching today's video. It's not a very fun time that I'm going to be having today. I do have to unfortunately force feed my Pacman frog Pluto. It should only ever be done in emergency situations like my situation. She's eaten once in the last 3 months. I've been doing so much research in the last few months. It could be a mountain of different things. Basically, about 3 months ago when she was in her old enclosure, she buried herself under the dirt. The idea is that they supposedly do come back up when they're hungry, and my frog hasn't come back up. I don't actually know how long it takes for a Pacman frog to starve to death, but 3 months in my eyes is too long to go without eating and not re-emerging. A couple of things that could be wrong with her in my research is she could be in a state of estivation, which is basically a partial hibernation, which frogs will do if the temperature and humidity isn't at exactly what they need. Just to be safe, I have ordered a temperature and humidity gauge, so I will know for sure whether that's right, and if it's wrong then obviously I will change a few things around. Another thing that could be wrong with her is she could be impacted, which is when frogs ingest something that they can't digest, like the soil. It blocks their digestive system and it can be quite dangerous. A lot of people use moss in their frogs enclosures, and that is notorious for if they swallow it they will become impacted. My frog is on cocoa fiber, which is supposed to be the best option for them, so it's unlikely that it is that, but it could be that. Another thing that could be an issue with her is she could have a parasite. Pacman frogs, as they're living in the earth, in the dirt, they are constantly exposed to parasites and bacteria. They do have quite good immune system, so it's not usually an issue, but if the frog is stressed or not comfortable in its environments, then its immune system can become impaired, meaning that there's more room for a parasite to take over. Another thing that could be wrong with her is it could just be random. Like, Pacman frogs are so notorious for not eating or being fussy eaters, or the most googled Pacman thing is, why has my Pacman frog stopped eating? But like I said, 3 months is just not a space of time that I'm at all comfortable with. Basically, the premise is if your frog isn't lunging for food, what you can do is use their reflexes against them, I guess. Frogs can't spit out food once it's in their mouth, so basically the idea is you get like a flat surface, like the end of a spoon or something, and you gently push it into their mouth and sort of pry their mouth open a little bit. You just shove the food inside, and once the food is actually in their mouth, they can't spit it back out again, so they do swallow it. So it is a very effective way of getting food into your Pacman frog. So what I'm going to be feeding her today is this pellet food. I do normally feed her on locusts and crickets and things like that and worms, but seeing as she hasn't eaten in 3 months, all of my feeder insects have obviously died. So I will be feeding her on these, and you basically just soak it in water for a couple seconds and it gets sort of soft. So yeah, I'm just going to take you guys through straight to the feeding, and I hope that you guys enjoy this video. So let's get into it. Alright guys, so I'm starting her off in this shallow baking tray with some warm dechlorinated water in there. Here she is. So obviously, as I've just dug her up, she's probably not going to be taking food herself. I mean, she hasn't been taking her own food for a couple months now. So I did give it a little try, but I knew it wasn't going to work. So what I'm trying to do here is gently pry open her mouth with the end of the spoon, and when she opens her mouth, shove the food inside. It's obviously not an experience that she likes, not one that I like either, but it's got to be done, and it does actually work. So sadly you can see here how much of a struggle it is for her to swallow her food. When Pacman frogs close their eyes when they're eating, it's them pushing down their food, so it's them swallowing, and yeah, she is having a really tough time with it. She does also have quite a lot of stuck shed, seeing as she's been buried for so long. She obviously hasn't been able to soak and get it all off, so I gave her a helping hand. This is so hard. I know.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
She is struggling to digest. See how she's like all like rigid? You can see how actually skinny she is here. She's supposed, all that bit that dips down here is supposed to be completely filled out. Yep, she's a little anorexic frog, but hopefully we can change that, right girl? Alright, let me get you out. Okay, come on. Okay, I need 2 hands. So yeah, this is her cage right now. She usually hides in the back there. I think obviously because she hasn't eaten in such a long time, I think she's struggling. So what my plan is I need to try and force her to eat. I think I'm gonna do it one more time. And if she doesn't start taking food herself, then I'm gonna have to take her to the vet. I can't keep just force feeding her all the time because it's really not a fun experience for me. It's really not a fun experience for her. Obviously, it's only an emergency situation because I'm not just gonna let her starve to death. And with Pacman frogs, you can actually force feed them, so it is ethical, even though it looks a little bit intense and doesn't feel right as the owner. I just really hope that she puts a bit of weight on. You're gonna go and bury yourself. Go bury yourself, girl. There you go. So she went behind there to bury herself and then came back a few hours later. She's actually out. It will be interesting to see what she does, where she goes. I mean, if she stays partially out, that is kind of the ideal situation, because when they bury themselves, they're obviously you're unable to feed them without completely digging them up. So if she kind of stays a bit in the open, obviously kind of burrows down a little bit, gets herself comfortable, but her head is in the open, then there's a high chance that I might be able to feed her without having to take her out. She might just take the food herself. So this is definitely encouraging. I mean, she could be not burying herself because she feels unsettled. Oh, she's burying herself now. So it is the end of the night and Pluto is up and about. She was just in her water dish. Now she's hopping about. All in all, this is the most amount of activity I've seen her do in about 3 months. So I'm really hoping that it's a good sign. Maybe some of that food has given her a little bit more energy. Right, girl? Oh, there she goes. And yeah, she's probably got a lot of that stuck shed off her, which I'm really happy about. As you guys noticed, she did have a lot of stuck shed on her, so she probably feels very relieved. I'm gonna have to change out that water. I will let you guys know how she does in the future, whether I do have to take her to the vet or not, but so far I'm quite happy. Yeah, that's Pluto. So yeah, that is basically how that whole situation went. I know that it's really not the prettiest thing to see. I'm going to be able to adjust the temperature and humidity a lot more soon, and I hope that she puts a little bit of weight on, and I really hope that she goes to the toilet as well, because she hasn't pooed in a very long time, and I don't think that's good for any animal. And once she does that, then maybe it will start getting her body moving again, her digestive system flowing. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe to my channel if you like my content, and please hit the like button if you like this video, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.